Hello everyone. Let me ask you something. Have you ever noticed how your mind can make heaven feel like hell, and hell feel like heaven? Think about it. The same world, the same people, the same problems, but two people experience it completely differently. One sees failure as an end. The other sees it as a lesson. One feels trapped by their past. The other uses that pain to build their future. So what's the difference? It's not luck. It's not education. It's not money. It's the mind. Your mind is your greatest weapon, but also your greatest enemy. It can build your life, or destroy it silently from within. Most people don't lose because of others. They lose because they never learned how to control their own thoughts. They lose to fear, to doubt, to insecurity. And that's the sad truth. Most battles are lost long before they even begin, because they were lost in the mind first. Let me tell you a story. There was a man named Ethan. He wasn't rich, he wasn't special, he wasn't famous. But he had one dream, to create something meaningful, to build a life that mattered. He worked hard, but life kept knocking him down. He applied for jobs and got rejected. He started small businesses and they failed. He loved people who left him. And after a while, he began to believe that maybe life just wasn't meant for him. One night, Ethan sat in his small apartment, lights off, just staring at the ceiling. He felt tired, not physically, but mentally. He said to himself, "Maybe I'm just not good enough." And that one thought, that single whisper of defeat, started spreading like poison. The more he thought it, the more he believed it. And the more he believed it, the more his life proved it. That's how powerful your mind is. It doesn't give you what you deserve. It gives you what you believe. For months, Ethan lived like a ghost. Waking up, working, sleeping, existing, but not living. Until one morning, something changed. He was scrolling through his old photos and found a picture of himself from years ago. In that picture, he looked full of dreams. Hopeful. Alive. He stared at that photo for minutes, and tears filled his eyes. He whispered, "What happened to you?" And that's when it hit him. It wasn't the world that broke him. It was his own mind. He realized his life didn't fall apart when he failed. It fell apart when he stopped believing. That moment changed everything. He wrote something on a small paper and stuck it on his mirror. Your mind created this life. It can create a new one too. From that day, Ethan made a decision. He would no longer be a slave to his thoughts. He started observing them. Every time his mind said, "You can't," he asked, "Why not?" Every time it said, "You will fail," he said, "Maybe, but I'll learn." Slowly, his language changed. And when your language changes, your reality follows. He started waking up earlier. He started eating better. He started thinking better. He began visualizing the life he wanted instead of replaying the life he hated. And within months, he wasn't the same man. His business idea that failed once, he tried again with new energy. This time it worked. Not because the world changed, but because he did. You see, your life is a reflection of your thoughts. If you think small, your life stays small. If you think fear, your life becomes fear. But when you start thinking power, your life begins to shift toward power. It's crazy how the universe seems to obey your belief system. Because every thought you repeat is like a seed you plant. And your life grows from those seeds, whether they're seeds of hope or seeds of fear. So, ask yourself right now, what are you planting every day? When you wake up, do you feed your mind thoughts of gratitude or thoughts of anxiety? Do you say, "Today will be amazing," or, "I just have to survive this day"? Because whatever story you tell your mind, it starts creating evidence to prove it true. If you say, "I'm unlucky," your brain will find proof you're unlucky. If you say, "I can do this," your brain starts finding ways to make it happen. That's the power sitting right inside your head, every second, quietly shaping your future. But here's the scary part. Most people never learn how to use it. They spend their lives letting their mind control them instead of controlling it. They become prisoners of their own negative thoughts. They live in cages built not by society, but by imagination. You can't see those cages, but you can feel them, in your hesitation, your self-doubt, your fears. You can have all the talent in the world, but if your mind is your enemy, you'll lose everything. Ethan's story didn't just teach me about belief. It taught me that the real battlefield isn't outside, it's inside. The war isn't against circumstances, it's against your own thoughts. Because if you win in your mind, the world will eventually surrender. But if you lose in your mind, the world won't even need to defeat you, you'll defeat yourself. Let me tell you something powerful. Every limitation you think you have exists only in your mind. Fear? It's imagination. Doubt? Imagination. Excuses? Imagination. Your mind creates these walls, and then convinces you they're real. But the moment you decide to question them, those walls start to fall. You have to understand, your mind listens to you. It believes everything you say. So when you keep saying, I can't, it stops trying. When you keep saying, I'll never make it, it closes every door of possibility. But when you say, I can, I will, I must, it starts working for you instead of against you. That's how great people rise. Not because they never fall, but because they never let failure write their story. They use their mind as a weapon, not a weakness. Every successful person you admire, from entrepreneurs to athletes to leaders, they all have one thing in common. They master their mind. Because your mind can be your greatest servant or your worst master. Once Ethan learned to master his, everything changed. He didn't just rebuild his business, he rebuilt his confidence, his relationships, his peace. And one day, he said something I'll never forget. I realized I wasn't born unlucky. I was just thinking unlucky. How many of us are doing the same? Waiting for luck, waiting for opportunities, waiting for motivation, when in reality, the power has always been inside us. You don't need luck. You don't need magic. You don't need a miracle. You already have the greatest superpower in the world, your mind. The question is, are you using it to build yourself or destroy yourself? Ethan once told me something that still echoes in my heart. He said, the day I stopped blaming the world, everything started changing. At first, I didn't understand what he meant. But then he explained, when you blame the world, you give it power. When you take responsibility, you take that power back. That's what your mind does. It hands out power. Every time you say, they hurt me, life is unfair, I can't win, you give away your strength. But the moment you say, I can change this, I can grow through this, I'll rise no matter what, you reclaim control. And that's when real transformation begins. You see, your mind can't change the weather, it can't control people, and it can't erase pain. But it can change how you respond, and that changes everything. When you shift from victim to creator, your whole energy shifts. You stop reacting to life, and start designing it. Ethan began to design his life intentionally. Every morning, he spent 10 minutes visualizing the man he wanted to become, confident, calm, grateful. He didn't wait for success to feel proud. He felt proud first, and success followed. He didn't wait for peace to arrive. He created peace by the way he thought. That's the secret people don't talk about. You don't attract what you want. You attract what you are. If your mind is full of fear, you'll find reasons to stay small. If your mind is full of faith, you'll find doors that others can't even see. Ethan's friends began noticing the change. He walked differently. He spoke with purpose. Even his failures looked graceful, because he carried them with wisdom instead of shame. One of his friends asked him, "How did you do it?" And Ethan smiled and said, "I stopped believing the lies my mind used to tell me." That line, it hit me deep. Because that's what we all do, don't we? We believe lies. We believe we're not good enough. We believe it's too late. We believe nobody cares. But none of it is true. It's just a voice in your head that's grown louder because you kept feeding it. Your mind repeats what you allow. If you repeat pain, it becomes identity. If you repeat hope, it becomes strength. So you must choose what you feed it. Feed your mind with greatness, not gossip. Feed it with possibilities, not problems. Feed it with gratitude, not complaints. Because the thoughts you repeat become the life you live. Ethan's story could have ended in hopelessness, but he rewrote it by changing one thing, his mindset. And that's something you can do too. You can reprogram your thoughts. You can rebuild your identity. You can reinvent your story, one thought at a time. Start small. When you wake up, don't reach for your phone. Reach for a thought that serves you. Say something powerful. Today, I choose peace. Today, I choose progress. Today, I choose to think better. You won't believe how quickly your life begins to respond. But remember this, your mind will resist at first. It's used to chaos, fear, and negativity. When you start feeding it calmness and hope, it'll fight back. It'll whisper, "This won't work." That's when you must keep going. Because every time you choose a better thought, you're rewiring your brain. You're turning pain into power. Ethan used to say, "Every time I chose peace over panic, I was building mental muscle." And he was right. You become mentally strong the same way you become physically strong, by training daily. The more you train your mind, the more it listens to you. The less you train it, the more it controls you. It's like a wild horse, powerful, fast, and full of potential, but dangerous if untrained. Once you learn to guide it, that same wild energy can take you anywhere you dream of. One evening, years later, Ethan stood in front of a small crowd sharing his journey. He told them about the nights he wanted to give up, about the self-doubt that almost destroyed him. And then he said something that made the entire room silent. "My mind used to be my prison. Now it's my home." That's the goal. Not to silence your thoughts, but to make peace with them. Not to eliminate fear, but to understand it. Not to escape pain, but to grow from it. Your mind isn't your enemy. It's your greatest teacher, if you learn to listen the right way. When you feel broken, it whispers lessons. When you feel lost, it pushes you to search. When you fail, it shows you what needs to grow. But when you ignore it or let it run wild, it becomes chaos. So, build a relationship with your mind. Listen to it, but don't let it control you. Guide it, train it, teach it. And most importantly, protect it, because everything you see in your outer world begins in your inner one. You want success? Start thinking like someone who deserves it. You want peace? Start thinking like someone who already has it. You want love? Start believing you're worthy of it. Your outer life can't expand until your inner belief does. Ethan's life became a living example of that truth. He didn't wait for motivation. He became motivation. He didn't wait for happiness. He created it from within. And one day, he realized something beautiful. He no longer needed the world to validate him. Because once you master your mind, the world's opinions lose their power. You stop chasing approval and start living with purpose. You stop competing and start creating. You stop reacting and start rising. That's when you truly become unstoppable. I want you to pause and imagine something. Imagine if, starting tomorrow, every thought you had came true. Would you still think the same way? Would you still doubt yourself? Would you still replay the pain from your past? If not, then start changing your thoughts now, because that's exactly what's happening. Your dominant thoughts are shaping your future, piece by piece, silently, every single day. That's the real power of your mind. It's not about manifesting cars or money. It's about creating the kind of person who can handle those things. It's about becoming mentally strong, emotionally balanced, spiritually alive. That's your real wealth. Ethan used to say, "Once I mastered my mind, I realized I didn't need to chase success. Success started chasing me." That's the paradox of life. When you stop trying to control the outside world and start mastering the inside one, everything outside starts aligning. So, if you're listening to this right now feeling stuck, broken, or lost, remember this. You are not your thoughts. You are the one who chooses them. And you can choose new ones today. You can choose courage over fear. You can choose growth over comfort. You can choose healing over hatred. And when you make those choices daily, your mind transforms from a battlefield into a garden. And that's when you start living with peace. Never forget, your mind is your superpower. It's the most advanced technology in the universe, and it's already inside you. You just need to learn how to use it. So protect it. Feed it with love. Train it with purpose. And watch your world change, one thought at a time. Because if your mind can create pain, it can also create peace. If it can destroy you, it can also rebuild you. And if it can believe in fear, it can also believe in miracles. So believe. Because your belief is the beginning of everything. And one day, you'll look back and realize, the moment you decided to control your mind was the moment your life truly began. Thank you for listening. If you liked this video, don't forget to subscribe, share it with someone who needs this message today, and remember, your mind is your superpower. Use it wisely, and it will give you a life beyond imagination.